I work at Avalon School, and I just want to thank you all for traveling south, west, east, and north to be here. It's kind of a treat for Avalon not to have to travel. So, but I also wanted to introduce you to a special friend of Avalon School. We refer to him as our godmother, not our godfather, because of the connotations of that. But Walter has been a key, instrumental community friend of Avalon for going on 7 years now. So, and in fact, right now this fall, he's working with a group of students to help write the next edition of Oasis of Peace, which is one of his books. And I have, I think, 2 or 3 students in my advisory who work with him, and they're so passionate about looking at different issues in the world and looking at places of pain and war and turning into opportunities for peace. And it was really exciting. One student was talking about this place in Israel that she'd love to find out more about. I had been there, and I was just like, wait a minute, how do you know about this? And I was, oh, well, Walter told me about it. So it's really cool. But I don't need to go on and on. Well, I could go on and on about Walter, but I want to introduce to you the president of the Admissions Board, Walter.
Well, it's great to be here today with all of you. It's been an honor to be the president of the Admissions Cooperative this year. I had expected a number of things that would come with the job. I've always been promised a tractor by Doug Thomas, and I've never got it. I thought there was a slush fund. But I discovered that one of the great honors was working with the people in the co-op board, a really great group of people, very dedicated, and want to make this co-op and the work we do better. And that's a key to good teaching, good leadership, good learning. But the great thing that the president gets to do is to present a number of awards. And today we have several. John Dewey, the great progressive educator, always talked about learning as doing. But he didn't mean just doing anything. He meant experimenting, inventing, making, exploring, and discovering. This year, the planning committee, with input from the board and then with a suggestion from board members that we make this process more democratic, sent out a survey monkey to all of you, and a number of you responded, and we'll do it even more so over time to get more and more input from the members of the co-op. This year, we chose Northern Lights to receive our Trailblazer Award. I went to visit to surprise Dave about a month ago up at the school. I got there at 6:30 on a Friday night. Just no one was there. I was late. I was giving a speech up there the next day. But from everyone who has been there and has talked to me about this school, and we just heard a few testimonies, it's a place that embraces project learning. It's a place where children are truly leaders of their own work. From their community peace work, to the wreaths that they make, to the canoes that they build and then use. They have all of these different ways of engaging kids in learning. So, this is the Trailblazer Award presented to the staff of the Northern Lights Community School for courage, creativity, and innovation in education. You can continue to talk.
Okay. Like always, what I forgot to say is that 2 kids that grew up in my neighborhood here in St. Paul go to this school. And one of our other good friends who moved from Grand Rapids goes to a charter school out in Hopkins. One of our close friends in Grand Rapids, their daughter goes to our school. And I mean, I think when it gets that personal, where you say, hey, we want experience for these kids that will really, really prepare them for life, you feel just that much more emotion about what you're doing, that much more passion. And that much more respect. So thank you very much for this award. I believe in charter schools. I believe in what we're doing. I believe in what AdVisions is doing. I mean, schools need to change, and we need to engage kids, and that's a big part of what we're trying to do. So thank you.
I'd like to invite Ron Newell to come up here, please. And the president of the co-op, and this is an invitation to any of you to join our board and to be president, because you get to do this. Every year the president may or may not award to a cooperative member or to an organization. This year is very special for us. We want to give the President Award to Ron Newell for his extraordinary contributions to the AdVisions Cooperative. Ron's steady leadership as a learner and a teacher, his publications that advocate for us, that tell our story, his work with the Hope Study, which gives me great hope, and finally, and I know this because of my long involvement, the wonderful support that of course he would provide, but the wonderful support that he has provided to his daughter Vanessa that brought her to Avalon. I thank you very much.
Speechless, which is unique. Right? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that you appreciate it. And it's been a life-changing experience being involved with AdVisions. And hopefully what we have done collectively, because it's certainly no one person does anything in this organization, we all work together. But what we've done is made changes in your lives as individuals as well as all those kids that you work with. So it's been a very pleasing and learning experience. Thank you.
And for this year's Service Awards, when we were talking about this as board members, it was immediate and unanimous that our next recipient was to be honored for all of her outstanding work, first as a teacher, well known for being a wonderful teacher, but the wonderful service that she's provided the board over many years. I'd like to invite Barb Grotee to come up and be with us. AdVisions Cooperative Service Award presented to Barbara Grotee for exemplary service to the AdVisions Cooperative. Can't think of a better person to speak on her behalf than Bonnie G.
Just whisper, Mayor, you stink. I made sure she got here today. She would have come anyway. It was my privilege to work with Barb at Nerstrand Elementary School. I see so many new faces in the audience, and I'm just so excited about that. This is so exciting. But at Nerstrand Elementary, we were the first conversion charter in the state of Minnesota. And Barb's a big reason why. And this is 9 years ago that we did this. My math is correct. And there weren't as many forms then. There weren't. I mean, it was a whole different process. Okay. So in February, when Nerstrand Elementary School, 15 miles from the rest of the Faribault district, saw on a list of possible budget reduction scenarios, remember that word, close a small elementary school. Well, there was one in the center of Faribault that had recently been renovated, and there was Nerstrand out in the country. So we said, well, we have the strong support of our superintendent, who is now in Duluth, Dr. Keith Dixon, and we scrambled. A lot of that scrambling was done by Barb and me, weekends, as we would get our heads together. Lots of calls to Doug. Doug was hugely supportive. And it was an amazing process. And that next fall, so this was mid to late February, and in the fall we opened as a charter. And so we had the benefit of having been a school already, but without this woman's support and encouragement, I don't believe it would have happened. Barb started out as a paraprofessional at near Strand. Previous to that, she had done bookkeeping for a number of different companies. She was a paraprofessional. Then there was an opening as a secretary. So I was part of hiring her. Then we were in the district. She was a secretary. As soon as we chartered, she had a new title, administrative assistant. It was great. But Barb, you are the embodiment of dedication and commitment to your home, to your family, to the community, to that school. She is, in one package, their public relations and marketing program, right here. She is the first person you see when you walk in that door. And you have no idea the data we've received over the years of people saying, we weren't quite sure. We thought we'd come, but we just weren't sure. We walked in that door and we got this hello that we never forgot. She's amazing with parents. As a person who worked as the director of that school, I can tell you that she was very gifted at fielding those calls. That just a kind voice at the other end was all that parent needed to hear. And then, most especially, her kindness toward the staff, but most especially the students. She honors kids with her every breath. And I'm in awe.
This is my inspiration right here.
A second awardee is a person that I've become very fond of. Have great respect for him. I know that he has great commitment to kids. So I want Bill to come up here. From Riverbend, a teacher who is an advisor who's also an artist. And from everything I found out, a person who is able to help students and the teachers who work with him to find the artist that's within each of us. And that is a gift, to be able to do that. He comes to board meetings and works hard with us. He shows up on that Harley in the middle of the winter. And we do check-ins with him just to see what the weather's like and how is he doing facing nature. But I really think you've added a lot to our board and to the work that we do, and I really respect your work as a teacher and as an artist.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I wasn't expecting this at all, so I guess I just feel very strongly that charter schools have been a real plus in education, and I love working with kids and seeing it happen, and I can't do it without my staff who's here, and we push each other and we make things happen, and it's really a neat opportunity. So thank you very much. Thank you.
And finally, but not least, in every organization, there are people, usually a person, who is sort of the rock of the group. The person who's often behind the scenes, who appears when you need to see them, but typically you don't. And yet without this person, this organization does not work. I'd like to invite Pat. Patricia, please come up and get up here. Well, it says for exemplary service to the Ed Visions Cooperative, and that is true. But I want to say more than that.
Mary kept a secret.
Very difficult to do. Well, I want to thank you for being tenacious, for being so steady, for going above and beyond the duty. You've been the rock of the co-op, and often I think it can be a thankless job, and I don't think we would be as strong as we are without you. So thank you very much.
Totally surprising, and thank you, thank you. Not often you get to thank this well. I know a lot of names, I know a lot of voices, and everyone realizes I'm not quiet. So by the time I get talking to you, I know your family history and where you went to school and the names of your kids, and you know mine. But this is the best job I've ever had. I love working with all the people. I love the Mavericks, and sometimes I'm the pain for the rest of the group because I'm very tenacious with equality and people's rights and everything that comes down to the dotting of the I's and the crossing of the T's. And people sometimes complain. I had one who was kind of the other week that was calling about the different types of health insurance we have and kind of complaining why I didn't have it. Wow, I've had my husband's, and I'm like the rest of you. I didn't change it because it was so easy not to. And finally, she quit calling one night when she called, and it was 7 o'clock, and I was still there. So she says, I think she figured at that time anyone that put long hours in like that was working for you, not against you. And if that can be the one epitaph that I ever had, is that I've always done my very best. It's for every single person that belongs to the co-op. And my goal in life is to leave people better off for what I've done, not just with my family, but for my job, so that people who come here truly feel like they were treated equally and that I did the very best I could to help them in the goals. I'm not a dreamer. I'm not a person out of the box. I'm the person that dots the I's and crosses the T's, but it's been an awesome experience working with people who can live out of the box. And I'm kind of married to one, so I've got that working for me, the experience. But thank you, and the co-op is comprised of every one of us, and we are all on this journey, and thank you.
I have to add to Pat's story. We had a funny occurrence last spring. We do a spring planning, a fall planning. In the spring planning, we went to a little retreat center down here by Hastings or Red Wing, and we went through an exercise. Of course, many of you have been through this in determining whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. And it turned out that the only 2 people on our staff who were introverts, according to this, were Pat and Mary. And I'm thinking, there is no possible way. Because Pat's the only extroverted accountant I've ever met. And so we went through the entire 2 days, and it's all based around this whole notion. We get about 15 minutes before we leave, and Pat and Mary announced that they made a mistake on their little survey thing. They were actually extroverts. But it totally affected our retreat for those 2 days. And I kept thinking the whole time, there's no way that this could be possible.
Finally, thanks to Avalon and Avalon staff for hosting us. Thank you very much. And finally, I want to thank Mary for helping us organize this. She, as always, whatever conference I've been at, nationally, internationally, right here in town, this is the person who makes it happen. Thank you very much.